Have you ever paused to watch a woman who walks alone? No hand to hold, no partner to share her days, no frantic search for someone to fill the quiet. She's not chasing love, not posting her heart for likes, not waiting for a savior to sweep her into a story that's not hers. The world might whisper, she's lonely, she's guarded, she's nursing a wound too deep to name. But what if those whispers miss the truth? What if her solitude isn't a shadow but a flame? What if she's not lost, but found, standing in a strength so profound it cracks the stories we've been fed about what a woman should be? When a woman chooses to live alone, she's not running from life. She's running toward herself. This isn't the tale society tells, where a woman's value is tied to being loved, claimed, or needed. No, this is a bolder story, one that shatters the myths we've carried too long. Her solitude isn't defeat, it's a vow to her own soul. She's not cold, she's tired of pouring her warmth into hearts that couldn't hold it. She's not hiding, she's building a sanctuary within, a sacred space where her spirit can breathe, grow, and burn bright. Carl Jung, a wise explorer of the human soul, said that what we bury inside us becomes our shadow, a hidden force that shapes us until we face it. The woman who walks alone is meeting her shadow with courage. She's not rejecting love or connection, she's choosing to love herself first. And that choice is a quiet rebellion. It defies a world that says a woman needs a partner to be whole, that her worth lies in being chosen. She's choosing herself, and that makes people pause. Because a woman who doesn't need saving is a mystery, a power that can't be tamed or boxed into old roles. She's not lonely, she's deliberate. She's not distant, she's discerning. Her heart isn't locked, it's guarded, open only to those who come with truth, not fleeting promises. She's learned that love isn't about filling a void, it's about sharing a light that's already blazing. Until she finds that, she's content to walk alone, not out of pride, but out of faith in her own worth. This isn't about turning away from love, it's about refusing to settle for anything less than her soul deserves. Have you ever felt that quiet tug inside? That soft whisper that says there's more to you than the roles you've played? Lover, caretaker, partner, muse? That's what she's hearing. In her solitude, she's listening to her soul, perhaps for the first time. Jung called this individuation, the journey to become whole, to weave together every piece of yourself, even the ones you were taught to hide. For her, being alone isn't a punishment, it's a path to freedom. It's where she meets the dreams she buried to please others, the hurts she silenced to keep the peace, the strength she didn't know she carried. Society doesn't always cheer for this. It tells her she's incomplete without someone by her side, that her time is running out, that she's too much or not enough. It labels her cold, picky, unapproachable. But she meets those words with a soft, knowing smile, because they no longer wound her. She's heard them before, and they've lost their sting. She's not here to fit into someone else's story. She's writing her own, and it's one of depth, not display. The world wants her to hurry, to settle, to trade her truth for a fleeting sense of belonging. But she's done with that. She's learned that belonging begins within, in the quiet spaces where her soul speaks. This woman knows pain. She's loved until her heart ached, given until she was empty, chased love that left her smaller. She's walked through nights of tears, days of doubt, moments where she wondered if she was enough. But those moments weren't wasted, they were her teachers. Each heartbreak, each disappointment, showed her what love isn't. She's not bitter, she's wise. She's not closed off, she's clear. She wants connection, but it has to be real, honest, reciprocal, unafraid of depth. Anything less is just noise, and she's had enough of noise. She craves presence, the kind that doesn't demand she shrink or perform, the kind that sees her as she is and doesn't ask her to be less. Jung said that what we don't face in ourselves, we project onto others. That's why her solitude unsettles people. To some, she's a mirror, reflecting their own unspoken fears of being alone. To others, she's a challenge, proof that happiness doesn't need a +1. Men who thrive on need might feel lost. She doesn't need them to save her. Women still seeking approval might feel judged by her peace. But she's not here to judge or compete. She's here to live fully and freely, in a way that feels true to her soul. Her presence alone is enough to stir questions, to spark unease, to make others wonder, could I be that free? Could I choose myself too? Her solitude is her sanctuary, not a cage. She didn't build walls to keep the world out. She built them to protect what's growing inside. In the quiet, she's faced her shadows, the childhood wounds that taught her to please, the abandonments that made her doubt her worth, the loves that asked her to be less than she is. Those scars don't define her, they guide her. They've shown her that love should lift, not limit, that it should expand, not confine. Until she finds that kind of love, she won't settle. She's not waiting for a fairy tale. She's crafting her own epic, one where she's the hero, not the one waiting to be saved. This path isn't smooth. There are nights when the silence feels heavy, when doubts creep in like a cold wind. Am I wrong to choose this? Am I missing out? The world's voices echo, telling her she's wasting time, that she should be out there, finding someone, proving her worth. They say her clock is ticking, that a woman's value fades if she's not paired, not seen, not loved. But she's learned to question those voices. They're not hers, they're the world's, built on old rules that never served her. Jung would call this the work of the shadow, facing the parts of herself that once craved approval, that feared being alone. It's raw, it's real, and it's not easy. But in that struggle, she's finding freedom. Temptations still come. Old lovers might reach out, offering familiar comfort. Friends might nudge her to get back out there, to stop being so picky. Family might worry she's too alone, too withdrawn. But she's not withdrawn, she's immersed. Immersed in herself, in her growth, in the quiet beauty of her own company. Not everyone understands this. They see her solitude as a problem to fix, not a choice to honor. But she knows better. She's not running from life, she's diving into it, deeper than most dare to go. Jung saw this as the heart of individuation. The moment the ego, the part that clings to control, steps back, and the soul steps forward. Many falter here. The silence feels too vast, the doubts too loud. They return to old patterns, to relationships that feel safe but small, convincing themselves that half a love is better than none. But the woman who stays, who walks through the doubt and the dark, is being shaped by something greater. She's breaking cycles, not with anger, but with clarity. The ache she feels isn't failure, it's growth. Like a seed pushing through dark soil, she's reaching for light, even when it's hard to see. Every tear, every question, every moment of uncertainty is a step toward a self that's stronger, truer, whole. Deep down, she knows something is shifting. Even when she can't name it, even when she feels too alone, too misunderstood, there's a voice inside her, soft but steady. It's what Jung called the anima, the feminine spirit that bridges the everyday and the eternal. She's learning to listen to it, to trust it. The more she does, the more she sees. Her solitude isn't a pause, it's a sacred act. It's a ritual her soul has always known, even if the world has forgotten. In this quiet, she's not just surviving, she's transforming, becoming a woman who carries her own light, who walks with her own truth. Slowly, the restlessness fades. Questions rise, sharp and piercing. Why did I think I needed someone else to feel whole? Why does being alone scare me so much? What part of me still seeks others' approval to feel alive? Her solitude isn't pulling her away from life, it's rewriting it. Her emotions become mirrors, reflecting truths she couldn't see before. The noise of wanting love once drowned them out, but now she hears them clearly. She doesn't need applause or validation anymore. Her worth isn't in how much she's loved, it's in how deeply she loves herself, how fiercely she holds her own soul in the quiet. A new strength grows, almost holy. It's the power of a woman who doesn't need to be chosen. The world might not know what to do with her. She's not begging for love anymore. She's whole, and that makes her a force, a challenge to anything that thrives on need or lack. Her energy isn't gone. It's gathered, alive in a silence that sings. Jung might call this the feminine unconscious awakening, ancient wisdom rising through her veins, connecting her to every woman who's ever dared to stand alone. Words fade, presence takes over. She's only just beginning. Her transformation is complete when she knows she's the flame, not the one chasing it. Those who can't handle her light step back. Those who stay meet her as an equal. She's done dimming herself. Ordinary love doesn't fit her. She's extraordinary now. Her soul, awake, only chooses what honors it. She doesn't return to the world. She becomes it. Every step is deliberate, every choice rooted in love for her own company. Her quiet heart beats with a new rhythm, deeper, truer. There's no rush to fill gaps, no need to fit into spaces too small for her soul. Jung said what we deny controls us, but what we embrace transforms us. She's turned her solitude into strength, her silence into a sacred space. She's not waiting for rescue, she's her own salvation. Need becomes choice, fear becomes clarity. She can love, but it's from fullness, not lack. When love comes, it won't define her, it'll walk beside her. She's already whole. This isn't just her story, it's every woman's who's been taught to chase, to shrink, to settle. She's a spark, not to lead but to light the way. Only someone who's faced the dark can show it's not to be feared. Jung called this the self, when the soul shines unbound. Every loss, old loves, small selves, relationships that cramped her, feels like freedom now. Every absence feels like a gift. She's not stepping back into old roles but claiming new ground, where her presence is enough, her voice a tide, her silence a hymn. Her solitude is not the end of her story, it's the spark that lights her path. This woman, who's chosen to walk alone, hasn't turned away from life, she's embraced it in its rawest, truest form. In the quiet, she's found a truth the world rarely speaks. Joy doesn't need a partner, and strength doesn't need permission. She's learned to cradle her own heart with the tenderness she once sought from others, to listen to her soul with the care she once gave to fleeting loves. Her solitude is not a wall, it's a garden, growing a self that's fierce, clear, and radiant. The world keeps shouting that she needs someone to be complete, but she knows the truth, she's already whole. Her heart is full, not with the weight of expectation, but with the lightness of self-love. In the silence, she's asked the deepest questions. What do I want, not what the world demands? Who am I when no one's watching? What does my soul dream of when the noise fades? These questions are her compass, guiding her to a life that's hers, not borrowed. Jung's concept of individuation shines here, the journey to weave every part of herself into a whole, embracing both shadow and light. She's walked through the darkness of doubt, the sting of loneliness, and come out stronger, not by erasing pain but by learning its lessons. This strength isn't loud, it's in her quiet confidence, her steady gaze, her refusal to settle. She says no without guilt, yes only when it feels true. She's not here to please, she's here to be. And that freedom inspires others. Women see her and feel a spark of their own power, a reminder that they, too, can choose themselves. Men sense a challenge, not to conquer her, but to match her depth, to meet her with the same honesty she brings. Her solitude isn't isolation, It's a declaration of sovereignty, a claim to her own space, her own truth. Jung's anima, the feminine spirit, flows through her, connecting the everyday to the eternal. She carries the wisdom of generations, the strength of every woman who stood alone and found herself. Her solitude is a ritual, a sacred dance with her soul. She's not just a woman, she's a force, rewriting what it means to be whole. Every step she takes lights a path for others, showing that solitude isn't loss, it's discovery. Every choice she makes is a reminder, you don't need to be chosen to shine. You don't need a partner to be complete. You don't need noise to be heard. But this journey isn't without its shadows. There are days when the quiet feels too heavy, when the world's voices creep in, telling her she's too much, too little, too alone. She feels the weight of expectations she was taught to carry, the need to be loved, to be seen, to be paired. Those old stories still linger, whispering that a woman's worth is tied to someone else's gaze. But she's learning to let them go. Each doubt is a chance to grow stronger, each moment of loneliness a lesson in her own resilience. She's not perfect, she's real. And in that realness, she's found a power that no one can take away. She's faced the ghosts of her past, loves that promised forever but faded, dreams she set aside to please others, moments where she felt invisible. Each one was a wound, but also a teacher. They showed her what she doesn't want, a love that demands she shrink, a life that asks her to hide. Now, she knows what she does want, a connection that honors her, a life that feels like hers. Until that comes, she's content in her solitude, not because she's given up, but because she's found something better, herself. Her transformation ripples outward. She's not just changing her own story, she's changing the story for others. Every woman who's felt the pressure to conform, to chase love, to settle for less, can look to her and see a different way. She's a beacon, not because she seeks to lead, but because her light is undeniable. Jung would say she's tapped into the archetype of the wise woman, carrying the collective memory of all women who've dared to listen to their souls. Her silence speaks for them, her strength lifts them, her journey reminds them that they, too, can find their way. This is her mission now, not to fit in, but to stand out, to show that solitude can be a beginning, not an end. She's learned that the world's noise, its demands, its judgments, cannot drown out the voice of her soul. That voice is growing louder, guiding her to a purpose she feels but can't yet fully name. She's not just living, she's creating, shaping a life that's true to her. Those who meet her sense it, the quiet power, the steady fire, the knowing that comes from walking through the dark and finding light within. Every loss she's faced, old loves, past versions of herself, relationships that asked her to be less, has become a stepping stone. What once felt like pain now feels like liberation. What once seemed like emptiness now feels like a wellspring. She's not running from love or life, she's redefining them. Her silence has taught her that love is not something to chase, it's something to embody. And life is not something to prove, it's something to live fully on her own terms. If you feel this stirring in you, don't push it away. That restlessness, that ache, that quiet pull to be alone, it's not weakness. It's your soul whispering, asking to be seen. You're not alone in this. You're part of a lineage of women who've turned silence into strength, who found light in the dark. Share this with someone whose heart is stirring, who feels the call but can't name it yet. Leave a comment below. Tell us how this resonates with you. And if you want to keep walking this path, subscribe. Every word is a seed, every silence a garden, every story a spark. The woman who chooses herself isn't just living, she's rewriting what it means to love, to live, to be. And her whisper says, you're not alone. You're awakening.